do you get for the man who has everything?
Happy birthday, sir. Thank you, Maggie.
I don't like her. So what brings you to town, Conrad? Everything all right?
October 12th. Nikki's birthday. This is for you.
Consumer Recreation Services.
Call that number.
Why?
They make your life fun.
What are you selling?
It's a game.
Game.
Specifically tailored for each participant. John, chapter 9, verse 25. Whereas once I was blind, now I can see. Now I can see. One day your game begins. You either love it or hate it.
Are you going to spend the rest of the evening prying at that clown's mouth?
Mr. Van Orton, is everything all right?
Ah, Mr. Van Orton.
Have we met?
I believe so.
Why are you following me? Find out about a company called Consumer Recreation Services.
They won't stop, Nick.
He's in on it.
I paid the bill. I paid him more to make it stop.
I need the police. You're gonna break into my house. I mean, voices like a bunch of depraved children.
They're trying to kill me.
Who's behind this? Who did this to me? Why?
This is all the game.
Ah!
Right now, I am extremely dangerous.
You're behind the whole thing, aren't you?
No!
They make your life fun.
But what does that matter to a bloated millionaire fat cat like you? In other financial news, stock markets rose both domestically and abroad today after the announcement of stronger than expected earnings by several high-tech companies, but dipped again, reacting to reports that Nicholas Van Orton had sneezed. Are you going to spend the rest of the evening prying at that clown's mouth?
I
It's
don't...
frustrating for me if you don't pay attention. Write this number down. It's a 24-hour Consumer Recreation Services hotline for emergencies only. But don't call asking what the object of the game is. Figuring that out is the object of the game. Good luck.
What do you make of the system? Do you think it's a healthy system?
So it's much healthier than it. So I've done different. I've done business journalism, economics journalism, investigations, but I have had two chunks of my life when I was a political editor. So I was a political editor in the 90s for the FT, political editor now for ITV, and it is way healthier than it was in the 90s. To get back to the diversity issue, in the 90s it was pretty much all men. I mean, there were one or two absolutely outstanding women political editors like Eleanor Goodman of Channel 4, but they were very much a minority. Now, I guess that in the lobby it is 50-50 men, women, which is great. And it is the whole. It is much more transparent than it was. When I first joined, it was like joining the Freemasons. I mean, you had the sort of basic, the so-called lobby briefings, where twice a day you were briefed by the Prime Minister's spokesperson, and in those days there was a sort of weird room at the top of Parliament where it took place in, as well as taking place in Downing Street. And to go to my Freemasons point, actually, I wrote about this I recently published a thriller called The Whistleblower, which has a big chunk about what it was like to be working in the lobby in the 90s. And the room we used was actually the room that was reserved for Parliament's Freemasons. Believe it or not, you couldn't make it up. Anyway, the room we used was actually the room that was reserved for Parliament's Freemasons. And the room we used was actually the room that was reserved for Parliament's Freemasons. Believe it or not, you couldn't make it up. Anyway. Was actually the room that was reserved for Parliament's Freemasons. Believe it or not. You couldn't make it up. Anyway.